Hi, welcome back everybody. It's actually a couple of weeks later after I did my very first acrylic pour, and with this first test what I was trying to discover and differentiate from was just using the two different types of pouring mediums. One is a very famous, well-known professional pouring medium for paint that a lot of artists use, and the other one was more of a homemade Elmer's glue. A little bit cheaper in the long run, I guess, and so I was just testing to see how both of the pouring mediums affected the paints and how it worked, and these were the results. It's been a couple of weeks because I actually also decided to do another pour, and I'll put the video of that just after this before I show you the results. I wasn't quite convinced that this particular one with the Elmer's glue had worked out all that great, so I just wanted to do another kind of control test for myself to see if the results changed at all. So with these first two, obviously my very first pours ever, and I know that maybe the colors were going to run into each other, or because of the colors that I used they could have gone a little bit muddy, which I think that they did, but look, it's all a learning process, and overall I'm pretty happy with them for a first time. Quite exciting. I got some really bright colors here, some really great flowing shapes and patterns. I've got some cells. I used a silicone oil and we got some cells, but because there was such a big difference between this one and this one, maybe I thought, oh, you know, the Elmer's glue doesn't quite work and let the paint flow as well as the Floetrol. That's why I decided to do another test. However, having said that, I guess in this one here, we've got bigger cells. I don't know why in comparison to the other one, but the colors are great. I guess we've got just this really large patch of yellow. Initially I thought, oh, that's a bit of a big mess of a blob, but you know, that's not too bad. I know I've got a lot of muddy colors here in the corner, but I suspect that's because I used the green, the blue, you know, the way that it got poured, the way it got mixed together. This is all a learning process, and hopefully will improve as we go ahead in the future. But look, overall, I guess this yellow creates quite an interesting pattern and draws your eye a little bit to it. So yeah, look, with that one I was happy with the Elmer's glue. This one with the Floetrol created a little bit more of repeating lines and repeating patterns. When I was pouring it, I remember thinking that the Floetrol mixture was a little bit denser than the Elmer's glue, so that's probably why we're a little bit more controlled with the flowing here, but I really like it. We've still got the yellow coming through. I used a little bit of silver in these as well, and you can, just depending on how the light hits it, you can see that silver coming through. I'm loving this. It's just reminding me maybe of a river flowing through a mountain gorge. Pretty happy with these, happy with the cells. I haven't varnished these as yet because I might not actually varnish these as my very first ones. This was more of a test and getting used to how the process all works. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna spend the money on the varnish for these yet. If I do, I'll probably resin them, so the colors are going to pop a little bit better. But as of yet, I haven't. I'm going to show you now the fast forward video of the second pour that I did myself. I used exactly the same colors, exactly the same pouring method. I just did a dirty pour into a cup. Same colors, same combination of paints. I used the same combination. I did one with the Elmer's glue as the pouring medium in the paints and the other one as the Floetrol. So watch the video and then I'll be back to show you the finished results. So here are the results of my second pour. So this one on the left is with the Floetrol as the pouring medium in the paints, and on the right we use the Elmer's glue as the pouring medium in the paints. So result wise, I can definitely see I had a little bit more control in the actual pour process. Again, I think my colours may have gone a little bit more muddy in this one. I used a teal, which I made a little bit more green. I added some yellow to it to bring out a little bit more green. Yeah, look, overall, I'm not I don't dislike them, and I think it's a pretty great effect, a pretty great result for the first time. I did have white through them as well, and as they developed, I know this one didn't come up in the video, but as this one developed, I started getting some bits of white kind of everywhere, which developed later, but that's okay. That's all good. That's the idea of letting them sit, I guess. And you can't, just depending on how the light hits it as well, you can see the silver coming through also. I guess the reason why I did a second pour was because I wasn't too convinced with the result of the Elmer's glue on my first pour. I thought that this came out a little bit too blobby, so maybe it was, because it was very runny in comparison to the Floetrol, I thought, oh, maybe this is not quite right, maybe I just don't have it in the correct proportion, but I didn't change any of the proportions in the second pour, all exactly the same. Maybe I guess it was, I just had better control over the second time. So we're getting the movement, we're getting the different lines, the different swirls. So I guess I'm pretty happy with them. I do need to work on my colours though, and maybe how I mix the paints, the colours that I use. I need something that's a little bit more contrasty, although I did use the white didn't come up too great. I think, you know, the result of this test was which is the better pouring medium, the cheaper homemade one with the Elmer's glue or the more expensive Floetrol. I guess, look, it might actually just come down to technique. The products themselves, I think, are both as good as each other. Just a bit of practice and just working on color mixing. But I think overall, they're both pretty good. You know, look, as I go ahead, if I'm just doing something quick just to test the colours maybe, I think I'll use the cheaper Elmer's glue pouring medium, and then when I want to do something serious, obviously I'll use the Floetrol. Nothing wrong with this. This is beautiful, fantastic. As well as this is great. So just comes down to what how much money you want to spend, I guess, and how good you are at pouring, perhaps. Anyway, so that's my result there. I'm going to continue with using this, maybe finish off a couple of bottles that I had just to get some more practice, and then we'll get on to the good stuff. And I think my next video, I have gotten some nice little resin molds that I have found in shops, and, you know, proper silicone resin molds. I also want to make my own silicone resin mold, see how that goes. Maybe I'll do that next. I will see you very soon. Thank you for joining me. Remember to click and subscribe, and press the bell so you know when my next videos are out. If you have any suggestions or anything that you want me to try in particular, write me a comment and give me a like. Yay! I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've done, which one you prefer, if you've done any pouring with these two mediums, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Look after each other. Bye.